What up? Centuria video. I plan on making chapter reviews for Centuria starting from here on out. So if you like Centuria, fuck with me. Alright, but like, comment, subscribe, and all that. But yeah, so Centuria, we get introduced in chapter either 177 or 277. I'm bad with numbers, but you get me. We get introduced to the leader of the Witches Coven. Well, we don't get introduced, but like we get a lot more information. Like that's the big story and everything. So the king has the hollowed out husk of the Witches Coven leader, the leader of the night, the god, we gonna call her Volgia. He has Volgia's husk stapled down to the ground like the 10 tails. When I was reading the chapter, I was like, bro, the ghetto Mazo? You couldn't escape in Naruto, Boruto, or here? My nigga, you just lacking. You just lacking, bro. What's up with you? And then I looked again and I was like, Kishin? Because now I look at you, you kind of look more like the Kishin than the ghetto Mazo. I don't know which one I want to call you, but damn, you can't escape. How you keep getting caught? So, yeah, so Volgia, apparently, we get information about the gods. I'm gonna make a whole video about like the different gods that's going on. I've been meaning to make it for a while, but I'm gonna really work on it now since we got introduced and we got more information about how the gods work and everything. So be ready for that video. But to sum it all up in a quick fashion, there's two different realms where there's a human realm and a deity realm. They usually they can't coexist. If a god is in the deity realm, they cannot come to the human realm. The human realm, they cannot go there. Well, like a god can come down, but they can't go back. Once you hit the human realm, you cannot go back up. So what happened was, for some reason, Volgia was like, I'm fucking with that down there. Let me step through. Came through, and once you get here, it's only right. Once a deity comes down in mortal flesh, they are prone to be checked by said mortals. And what did they do? 400 years ago, the king came through with his niggas and he stepped on them. It was a long battle. He lost a lot of people. Very hard battle. But he beat Volgia. And when he beat Volgia, they carved her up, hollowed her out, put the husk under his kingdom. Shout out the king, yo. What is up with him? We really need to see. He need his own thing. Maybe. He might need his own video. Because the king, yo. We're going to talk about you in a little bit. But, yeah. So, Volgia is this three-headed deity. And each head contains a different gift. It contains a different power. So, there's two blonde ones. Or white-haired. I don't know. But there's two blonde ones on the side, and then there's one that has black hair, but to me kind of resembles Diana, which is very prevalent since we know that Diana specifically is the child of prophecy. Why is Diana specifically the child of prophecy when we get introduced to even more information saying, oh, because the what's her name? The priest, the shorty that got the future telling abilities, the annoying one. She's sitting there and she like, okay, this is only skin. Where's the rest of it? And the king is like, all right, so what had happened was, you feel me? We separated her. The blood, the bone, the heart, the flesh, and the organs. Separated her into 5 parts. Those 5 parts, though, they manifested as different beings, as actual beings, like life. Diana is the heart. Lala, who is part of the king's little crew, she's bone. And then there's 3 unknowns. There's 3 unknown knowns and there's 3 unknown unknowns. Bulldogs reference. But there's 3 unknowns. And those unknowns are the bone, the blood, the flesh, and organs. The organs, very messy thing, and it's interesting that they didn't show the face of the one that's the organs. They showed the face of the blood, of the of blood and flesh. They didn't show organs face, but organs does have a human body. But yeah, that's the three unknowns. We know these two. The interesting thing about these two, though, Diana has the goat with her. And the goat, when she interacted with Lala, you would think that they would like click, like something would happen, and the goat would be like, would react in a way where it's like, hey, that's us right there. That's your dog right there. Your man's right there. That's not what happened. When Lala approached Diana, the goat it kind of locked in a way, like it was, like Lala pointed out, it was like, a bit overprotective, huh? Now you could say this is just like a dog being overprotective of his master, but the thing about the goat and Lala is that they are two beings. I mean, they're two beings, but they're the same person. They are the same. Like, Diana has two hearts. That's why she grows faster than normal children. She has two hearts. The goat is one of those hearts. And it's interesting that the goat reacted in a hostile way to Lala, even though Lala and Diana both come from the same entity. Another interesting thing is that the goat not the goat, is that Diana specifically is the child of prophecy. Not the other four, it's her, it's the child. Now, this is interesting because I remember when Julian and Diana first walked into the room when the priest was giving the prophecy of the king's death, and she was like, you are the one, you're the darkness that's going to engulf the world in flames. And when she walked in and she was like, and they pointed out like, nah, Julian is not that person. She's like, I don't give a fuck about this nigga. Who is he? He just another person. He a victim of fate's whims. It's her. It's that baby. I was under the impression that she was talking about the goddess of the sea, because we know that Julian received the goddess of the sea's blessing. I was also under the interpretation right then and there that, okay, Julian has a shared blessing with Diana. That's what I thought. That doesn't seem to be the case. But where is this goat coming from? Because he was right there with her too. And another thing, the goat was in the forest as well. It was in the forest. Is this goat working with the forest deity? Because there is a forest deity, that three-headed wolf. There's a three-headed wolf in the fucking forest. Wow. Okay, let's work with it. So maybe it's a thing like they working in tandem where these forest entities, maybe they not necessarily deities, but maybe they like work in tandem with Volgia. Like when Volgia came down, she had these things, because this is even more evident now that I think about it, because when the witches was riding into the battle with Julian and Lucas and all of them, they was riding on this deer thing, and it was very similar to how like the goat and the wolf was drawn, you know, like it was very outlandishly. That could work in tandem, yeah. So whatever the witches covenant night, we know that the witches and the king's like faction, they are in like a peace treaty right now. They don't fight each other. There's no conflict. They're not working with each other, but they're not fighting against each other. But the king mentions all of us are fighting over these 5 pieces for our own reasons. The witches coven, I guess, the prophecy is that they want to bring havoc into the world. And I hate to bring this up, but I remember when this first started, I made a lot of comparisons about this story with Leviathan, and how in Leviathan it was my boy Teso Ma, or was that Teso Ma's kid? Teso Ma's dude from Lucas. What am I talking about? Wait, what's that his name? Botan Ma. It was my boy, and his little sister, the little sister was this prophecy person, where she sort of took in a Sea King's like abilities and she became like this deity. And then it was between the last little fight was between them two. Whatever's going on with Diana is probably what's gonna happen. It's probably what happened with Shorty. It might be another case that might be like a similar thing, especially when we see future Diana. She don't look fully there. She don't look fully there. So it's something happens to Julian that sets her off on that path. Julian though, 99 lives and a bitch ain't one. What am I talking about? But Julian though, he Sea Deity. Does the Sea Deity know Diana is Volgia? Because there was also a point in the story where they was thinking about crossing the land by sea, and Julian was like, well, they was trying to figure out a efficient way, because Lucas pointed out that it was dangerous. He was like, he thought to himself, he like, I can't really ask her for help. She's too unknown. She's too untrustworthy. Does the Sea Deity know about Diana? Because the Sea Deity just seems to be like this sort of playful trickster thingy. It definitely holds bias towards Julian. But does it hold bias in a way where it's like, I'ma always watch out for you because you who I want. Like, you the vessel that I want. Will there come a time when Julius has to give up his ownership of his body and become the vessel of the Sea Deity? Because Julius, we know he gets stronger in water. His basic ability, that superhuman strength shit, it's cool. It ain't everything though, my boy. I'm not gonna lie. When she helping him though, oh my gosh. And he gonna need that if he going against Diana. Because the way that is set up, Diana, child of prophecy, most likely has in tandem abilities with the Forest Deity and Volgia. What am I even talking about? I'm just saying things that we know. I just need to point out the little things, you know? So I'm very curious on what the other three's like main reasons for going after the deities, like full things. And what I'm also really curious about is the goat said that it has family. Now you can say the family is like the wolf and all that, but I don't think so. I think it's just, we know that Diana is the child of prophecy. Maybe you could say, oh, she's the main thing because she's the heart, and the heart keeps the body going. The heart is the reason that the body going. That's lame though. So maybe it's a thing where it's like Diana is the black head. There's three heads. Who's the other ones? It could be Organ. Organ might be the other one that holds like another thing that Diana has, like with the goat. It could be Organ. It may be Flesh. I'll give it a Flesh. I like this though. All right. Yeah, that's pretty much the video. I don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about. I mean, like it if you like it, big. Comment, please. Give me some idea of what I was working with, please. But yeah, that's about this. Hey, Happy New Year's, B. Happy New Year's. Y'all boys stay safe, though. I'm out.